Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day to everyone. So today our group will be presenting a case study about video game sales around the world. Our group consists of 5 members, which are me myself, Nik Muhammad Nur Iman Iskandar Bezukri, Ahmad Razim bin Ahmad Fauzi, Adham Akil bin Ayub, Azril Iskandar bin Abu Bakar, and Zainal Mukris bin Ahmad Fuad. Our presentation today consists of 6 subtopics, which are introduction to case study, random variable, special probability distribution, sampling distribution, and conclusion. So the first one is introduction. Statistics is a mathematical field of science that deals with the gathering, analysis, interpretation or explanation and presentation of data. There are 3 objectives of this study. The first one is to apply the test on discrete random variables and cumulative distribution functions. Second one is to apply a special probability function on the data. And the third one is apply sampling distribution to data.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Ahmad Razin bin Ahmad Fauzi, metric number CN210188. I will proceed for introduction of the case study. For video game industry, the sector includes thousands of jobs globally across dozens of occupational specializations. Nowadays, the market for video games has expanded from niches to the mainstream. The primary goal of this project was to examine video game sales across various geographies. The major goal was to represent the sales for various publishers, platforms, and genres.
Okay, for this part, 3.0 random variable. Method used in this project is a discrete random variable. As you can see in the slide, is the formula for the variance and the mean for the probability distribution of a discrete random variable. For standard deviation is of the probability distribution of a discrete random variable is the square root of the variance. This is the data for the testing test on discrete random variable and cumulative distribution function we collected from this project. The data shows the JP sales quantity and the probability of it. The slide shows the 4 common questions that always been asked to calculate from the data we have. From those data and question for the testing test on discrete random variable and cumulative distribution function, these are the answers for all the questions as we use the formula in the first slide given.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Azril Iskandar bin Abu Bakar. The next subtopic is special probability distribution. In probability, a real valued function defined over the sample space of the random experiment is called a random variable. That is, the value of the random variable correspond to the outcome of the random experiment. Random variable could be either discrete or continuous. This also breaks down into the category which is binomial, Poisson, and normal. A continuous random variable is normal distributed or follow a normal probability distribution if its probability distribution is given by the following function. As we can see the function below. To calculate the standard score for normal graph, take a raw measurement, subtract the mean, and divide by the standard deviation. Mathematically, the formula for that process is the following: z equal to x minus mu over sigma. Next is application of special probability function. Suppose the global sales for electronic art are assumed to follow a normal distribution with a mean 4.8516 in that cells and a variance of 2.406063 in that cells. Calculate the probability that the measurement will exceed sits in that cell, and between 3 and 5 in that cells. As we can see the solution in the below.
Assalamualaikum and have a nice day to Dr. Ramajus Bana and my fellow friends. Today I will explain about the sampling distribution. In this chapter, they have three subtopics that I will explain later. Okay, the first subtopic is the 5.1 introduction of sampling distribution. Okay, a given population's sampling distribution is the frequency distribution of a range of possible outcomes for a population static. Okay, the second is in our group we use interferential statistics to conduct research by randomly selecting a sample from a population, collecting static on the sample, and drawing conclusion about population parameters based on the statistic. Okay, and number three, we will examine at the sample mean X as a static in this chapter. Okay, and the last one, we compute the sample means and attempt to discover how the means are distributed and randomly selecting a sample of a given size. Okay, after the from the previous subtopic, which is introduction, uh, in this subtopic that show in the screen is the 5.2, the summarize from the table of case study from our report. Okay, what we can summarize from it is first, we took data from two different video game store, which NA Shop and Global Shop. And okay, and the second one, we only focus on the sales of video games published by Nintendo in those two stores. Okay, and the third one is from the table. We know that the highest population sold for both video game stores is Wii Sport, and the least population for both video game stores is the Legend of the Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Okay, the last one, from the table, we know and have calculated the value for NS stores and global stores. First is for the total population, which is for 430.60 for NS stores and 905.37 is for global stores, while for the population mean, which is 8.12 for NS stores and 18.107 for global stores, and the deviation is and standard deviation value for an store is 7.5912 and 12.6996 for global store, and the last one, the variance value is 57.6264 for an store and 161.2800 for global stores. Uh, in this last subtopic, 5.3 calculation, we will calculate the data we get from the previous subtopic. Okay, to get the probability value. Okay, first step, we must calculate the mean of sampling distribution. The symbol for mean is the mu. You can see the u is not u, is a mu symbol. Okay, so the formula state that we must minus the mean for global sales and mean for NL sales to get the uh, 9.459. Okay, for the second step, we must calculate the standard deviation of sampling distribution. The standard deviation symbol is sigma. So for the first picture, we saw the n we use is for 23, and the second one is 25. So the first one for the sample is 23 is 3.0851, and the second one is 2.6070. Okay. For the third step is we must write the distribution in normal form. Okay. This is the formula for normal form. So we must include the value from we calculate from step one, this mu, and the sigma for standard deviation for the previous step, those for step two. Okay, for N23 we will get this, and for N25 we will arrange it using the formula, and we'll get this also. Okay, for the last step, step number four, we must find the probability of sample mean. As shown in the slide, this is the formula that we use to determine the probability. So for first picture, we use the sample n is 23, and the second picture is we use n for 25. So for both of the probability, we will get different because of different of the sample value. Okay.
In conclusion, the statistic is to provide reliable information or evidence that may be used to make important decisions. Second, statistic can also be used to generate or predict future outcomes. And third, it can also be used to analyze data and draw conclusions from it. Thank you for your attention. If you have any question, you can comment down below.